Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to bid a pleasant good morning to you, Mr. Speaker, my parliamentary colleagues, both on the government and the opposition side, the listening and viewing public, and to the great people of the Roseau South constituency. Mr. Speaker, before I continue, I'd like to ask you permission to go through my notes from time to time.
Permission is duly granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May God continue to richly bless you and your family. Mr. Speaker, I rise to give my full support to the 2024-2025 budget estimates as it was eloquently presented by our esteemed Minister of Finance, the Honorable Irving McIntyre. Mr. Speaker, this budget was set at a time, very critical time in our modern world history, and it was crafted to deal with the many challenges faced by the common man. Before I go further into my debate, Mr. Speaker, I want to publicly extend my heartfelt sympathy and condolences to key stalwarts of the Dominica Labour Party in the Newtown area. Ms. Marilyn Have, Albert Darambo, and a gentleman by the name of Emmett Peters, AKA, we call him Mr. Skerritt, and others who have been deceased. May their souls rest in peace. These were very strong pillars of the Dominica Labour Party, and I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, they will surely be missed. The leader of the opposition is not there, but I'm sure that he's probably listening and he will get the message. Or the leader in waiting, leader of opposition in waiting.
Okay, so we
the
don't
member
have a
for the
leader of
Marigot
opposition.
constituency.
Yeah. Okay, correct.
I want to extend my congratulations to him, Mr. Speaker, because he really exceeded our expectations. I got a WhatsApp message very early, 6 o'clock, after I prayed, Mr. Speaker, and I gave God thanks and praise for a new day. I got a WhatsApp message with someone saying to me, we're only giving him 20 minutes. But Mr. Speaker, he exceeded our expectations, and he did a wonderful job. But what I liked about his presentation, and I know the writer of his speech very well, that when he reached a point where he probably was not happy with what was written for him, he just cast it aside, Mr. Speaker. And he said, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to speak at this juncture in our debate because I have gotten the opportunity to listen to the members on the government side who did, Mr. Speaker, a marvelous job debating, educating, informing, and clarifying what was in the budget. I also listened to the opposition side. Mr. Speaker, I was disappointed, but not surprised, to say the least. Same old rhetoric, Mr. Speaker, as if probably all of them, I listened to each and every one of them, and they said the same things. It was like as if somebody had written a script for them. And I really thought that they would have learned from the mistakes from their predecessors, their counselors, their Prince of Peace, their motivators, Mr. Speaker. I thought they would have learned, but apparently, Mr. Speaker, they have not. They have not. And I really wanted the level of debate in this House to be of a higher standard, Mr. Speaker. But once again, The government side have showed them how it is done, Mr. Speaker. And let us give ourselves a round of applause. I heard talks like our healthcare system is in shambles, our education system is poor, nothing is being done for sports in this country, nothing is being done for youth, nothing is being done for agriculture. And Mr. Speaker, they have something saying, all in power for 20 years, nothing has been done in 20 years. But Mr. Speaker, we have to go back because we have young people listening. And they do not know what happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Mr. Speaker, when this Dominica Labour Party took up the reins of power in this country, they met a bankrupt treasury, Mr. Speaker. A bankrupt treasury. Millions and millions of unpaid checks, Mr. Speaker. You them want to talk about unpaid checks. We're not running a shop, you know, Mr. Speaker. We are running a government. We're dealing with international organizations. We must have debt. But the level of debt they left this country in, Mr. Speaker, what happened was that we had to face austerity measures. Mr. Speaker, I remember it so well. Because you know when you do something to a child, and at an early age, something bad and the child remembers. Well, Mr. Speaker, I just started working at the state college. And that traumatized me. I heard 5% after I have to pay Social Security. 5% stabilization levy had to come out from my salary, Mr. Speaker. And that was as a result of the UWP, Mr. Speaker. Hurricane, man-made, we're talking about climate change, but natural disasters. But there was man-made disaster in 2000. And Roosevelt Skerritt, our Prime Minister, visionary leader, Mr. Speaker, had to take this country from rock bottom and put it where it is today, Mr. Speaker. Public servants were not getting salaries on time. 45 days before they could have gotten paid. Monies were taken from poor people, Mr. Speaker, from Social Security to pay salaries, Mr. Speaker. That's how bad it was. One of my colleagues even told me, and he wouldn't mind I calling his name. Ambassador Ian Douglas said to me things were so bad that cabinet was even thinking of putting a bicycle tax, Mr. Speaker. That's how rough things was. It was announced, and you protested, Vince? Bicycle tax. It was rough. And from 2000, Mr. Speaker, this government has been faced with so many challenges. The trough system, Tropical Storm Erica, Hurricane Maria, COVID-19, Ukraine and Russia. Mr. Speaker, I mean, a government have to undergo that. A government have to undergo that type of, and you know the beauty about it, Mr. Speaker? All government workers getting paid on time. We're not missing not one day. All NEP workers are being paid. Our debts are being paid. Yes, we might have some money for some people, but our debts are being paid. Our loans are being paid on time, Mr. Speaker. These are the things that we have done, Mr. Speaker. And the opposition is always being oblivious to the fact that there are challenges around the world and the region. Misleading, trying their best to mislead the people of this country. But Mr. Speaker, I hear some people say they have eyes. Well, I have bulging eyes, and Mr. Speaker, I can see it. And it's their issue. I can see. And I can see Dominica on its way to being dynamic. Some don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. But, and Mr. Speaker, they see, but I suspect maybe, the cataract, glaucoma, sometimes it does, impair their vision. I'm not too sure it's any of them suffering from that. But it will happen, Mr. Speaker. Around the world, it's a debate. Don't take it personally. It's a debate, my friend. You said you're in Tropicini. I didn't see you at Tropic. You talking about things you don't even know about. You talking about Curl Festival. You have to practice what you preach. You say you support Tropicini. You are not there. I look all over the place. Or maybe she's too small, Mr. Speaker. I couldn't see her, Mr. Speaker. Please don't trouble me. Mr. Speaker, high levels of debt are faced all over the world. Vulnerability to natural disasters, high dependency on tourism, brain drain, high unemployment. Some places they have inadequate infrastructure, climate change, all of us facing it. Political instability, just to name a few. But this Dominica Labour Party just didn't sit down and do nothing about it. Because we are people who care about the most vulnerable among us. And Mr. Speaker, I do not know who the opposition is representing, because the only time I see them is within these four walls. Oh, Mr. Speaker, I saw them close by your place. Perky's, not Perky's, IROC, by the arch some time ago. So it's there I seen them. By the arch, Mr. Speaker, about electoral reform, time for change, and those things there, and within this, I've never seen them walk the streets of Salisbury or Marigot to go and see how people live in. All I'm hearing about is feeder road, maybe that leading to their farm, Mr. Speaker. They're thinking of. And this, Mr. Speaker, I'm not getting a parliamentarian salary. None of us here. They get in a parliamentarian salary and they have done nothing for the people whom they say they represent. Nothing. Just my Honorable Paul sit down in a nice fancy office with AC, but fan I using, Mr. Speaker, in Newton. Fan. What? 60 people I see now and it's fan I using. Fan. I prefer take the money and buy groceries, buy Pampers, buy medication for the people that I serve. Mr. Speaker, what have we done in education? Free college tuition for students attending the Dominica State College. And I was the bursar at the Dominica State College. You remember me, Vince used to call me, not true, to give you a query. Several, Miriam, when she Honorable Blanchard, called me several times to help out students in the Roseau North constituency. Mr. Speaker, there were students who could not afford to attend the state college, not because they didn't have the ability, but they just could not afford it. And I, as the bursar, had the opportunity to deal with them face to face, to interview them, find out the reason why they cannot attend the state college. And you know what I used to do, Mr. Speaker? The Ministry of Education used to pay for a few students. I'm the bursar, so when I send a bill, they have to pay it. So those who couldn't afford, I'll just put their names down, Mr. Speaker, and get the ministry to pay it. Then the Prime Minister, 2018, 2019, thereabout, made a pronouncement that he was waiving college fees for all college students. That is the kind of leadership that we have in this country. Mr. Speaker, school transfer grants, free textbook scheme, and I myself in my constituency, Mr. Speaker, we forward fast. We working quick, like clockwork, Mr. Speaker. Even before government at Buffett State give out, we have given out about 80-something books, you know, to families, you know, Mr. Speaker, through our book scheme program. And thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister again, Mr. Speaker, for making the funds available so that we can run this program. Mr. Speaker, uniforms. Some children only had one skirt and one shirt. Now we're giving them free and for, Mr. Speaker, free of charge at no cost to the parents. And when they finish, they want to say, we're not doing anything for the youth of this country. Sad, very sad, Mr. Speaker. In infrastructure, roads building, bridges building, Mr. Speaker, it's not even taking me half an hour to reach from Roseau to Portsmouth. Half an hour I take in. Good the road, good so. One day you must come with me, Mr. Speaker, you'll frightened. You must come with me. Let's go. We'll go intercontinental and go by Roland. You must come with me. See how fast. Because men have a habit of saying women cannot drive. And ask my husband about it. And as I talk about bridges, Mr. Speaker, boy, I don't know. God is so good, eh? God is so good. But I will get to the Emsall Bridge a little later down in my presentation. Later down. Mr. Speaker, I don't know, I'm getting tired, really tired of coming to this honorable house, the highest court of this land, and hearing the opposition side degrade, denigrate our NEP. Honorable Charles watching me like what I thought. Mr. Speaker, you see the thing is that when we talk the facts and the truth, they're in another world. You see how we looking? Camera, GIS, make sure he days enough. You listening? Okay. Our NEP, Mr. Speaker. Brilliant program by the Honorable Prime Minister. 5+ million, Honorable Kozia, every month circulating in the Dominican economy. I can tell you about Roseau South. Sometimes we have free families, $3,000+ going to one household, Mr. Speaker. We have taken these people out of poverty and restored some pride and dignity in our people by the creation of the National Employment Program. And we always say to our people, you don't have to stay under beautification. You have people working in the private sector, in the public sector, at the banks, Mr. Speaker. And as alluded earlier by my other man, we have examples right here in this house. And I have to repeat those things, you know, Mr. Speaker, because one day it will sink in. One day the opposition will get it. They know, you know, just trying their best to mislead people. We must never forget the prominence of the Yes We Care program. None of us are on this earth for too long, Mr. Speaker. All of us must die. Whether or not we want to hear it, we have to go one of those days. And when you die, Honorable Paul, Honorable Charles, and Honorable Victor, and Honorable Paris, how would you want to be remembered? Would you want to be remembered as those who were fighting down the poor and the vulnerable? That is how you want to be remembered? I don't think so, Mr. Speaker. I don't think so. Especially my good friend, Honorable Charles, the MP for Margaret. He has a heart, Mr. Speaker. I come into him. I have to help him out there. Because he's still waiting, eh? I want him to get it, Mr. Speaker. Anyway. Yes, we can. Mr. Speaker, when I visit the elderly in my constituency and other constituencies, and they tell you that Mary Jane, Suzanne came to comb their hair and give them a bath, Mr. Speaker, you feel so good because the Bible says to us that we have to take care of our elderly. We have to take care of them. And to criticize the Yes We Care program, Mr. Speaker, because you never know, one day, it might not be me, it might be somebody else. You all on this side may need a caregiver. You never know. So please, I beg of you all, be remembered as those who cared for the most vulnerable amongst us. Be those that champion in the cause of this Dominica Labour Party to take out our people out of poverty and bring them up to glory, Mr. Speaker. That is how you should want to be remembered. Now, Mr. Speaker, I heard so much talk about health and the hospital and no supplies. Mr. Speaker, I visited the casualty department on several occasions. I have to thank God that I have been healthy so far, Mr. Speaker. Thank God for that. But there are those who are not so healthy. And I've had the occasion of going there with my husband, Mr. Speaker, a couple occasions. And I can tell you, the doctors and the nurses do an exceptional job. And Mr. Speaker, and to tell it, at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. Thank God to our Chinese friends, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I go there, as I tell you, I go there. The last time I went there, they checked my husband's vitals. So the nurse told me to go this way. So I followed him, The doctor came and the doctor said, Madam, who tell you to go there? Mr. Speaker, I put my tail between my legs and I went back out. I don't know who told us, whatever they said to this doctor. She came back, apologized. I said, Doctor, people remember how you treat them. And when we come to this hospital and people are sick, remember, families are concerned. And so we expect that you treat us well. Change your attitude. Not because somebody said to you, I'm the par rep for Roseau, so if you coming to me. No. While you're doing a marvelous job, Mr. Speaker, at the hospital, I am begging the nurses and the doctors to have patience with people. Treat them well, have respect, Mr. Speaker. Change their attitudes towards our citizens. That is the biggest issue we have at the hospital. Not about paracetamol and pressure tablet. If your pressure high, go and drink coconut water and squeeze some lemon, Mr. Speaker. Go and exercise. That is what we have to do. Stop drinking sodas. That's what we have to do, Mr. Speaker. But I have a colleague that likes salt, Mr. Speaker. I have to talk to him. I have to caution him, Mr. Speaker, about that salt business. I have to talk to him. Honorable Williams said she's working on him. So he's up on the salt, my friend. Mr. Speaker, the 15 Honorable Kent, health centers. 13 health and wellness centers around the island. Well equipped, Mr. Speaker, with doctors and nurses. And I can speak to the one at Newtown. Mr. Speaker, we're operating like a mini hospital up there. There's not one day you go to the Newton Health Center and you meet them empty. All seats are filled. People waiting outside because they come from Rose or even Goodwill, Honorable Blanchard. There are people coming by us for care. And I want to thank the nurses and the doctors at the Newton Health Center for the wonderful job, Mr. Speaker, that they're doing. Mr. Speaker, I was driving over an afternoon and I met a dear friend of mine. Her name is Noreen. She's probably listening. And Noreen wasn't feeling well. I stopped Newton. I saw her looking kind of dazed. I said, Noreen, what's wrong with you? Boy, I'm not feeling well now. I just come out in the health center and they put some things on my chest. Pap, 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 some silver thing. She don't know what it is. I say, at ECG, Noreen? Yes. Imagine we have ECG machine at the health center. Primary health care, Mr. Speaker. We don't even need to go to Dominica, China, French. We have everything we need in Newtown, Mr. Speaker. Everything. I heard Honorable Paris, and he spoke about showing gratitude to the nurses, and I agree with it. I totally agree with him, Mr. Speaker, on showing gratitude. And Honorable Williams did it, Honorable Kasani, the Minister of Health, and also the PALSEC in the ministry. They all gave their congratulations and showed support to the nurses because they know that they're operating under very challenging times, Mr. Speaker. We know that. We know that. But people must practice what they preach, Mr. Speaker. I'm of the firm belief of that, showing gratitude. Senator Paris. Because the same person, Mr. Speaker, that signed for Senator Paris to be here today, he could not show him the same gratitude. He could not show him the same gratitude. It's sad because we speak about transparency and democracy, Mr. Speaker, all the time. Honorable Jesma Paul, the people of Marigot wants to know, why didn't you sign? Why didn't you sign to give your fellow colleague the opportunity to serve after he put you there? After he put you there, you did not give him the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to serve. You all had an agreement. You all had an agreement. And you did not live up to the agreement, Mr. Speaker. Answer the question, the people of Marigot, because, Mr. Speaker, he was elected, just like I. If it was Rosa South, you wouldn't be sitting down there now. Just honorable, sorry, the MP for Salisbury. That is a shame. That's a shame. It tells you about the people who are sitting on this side. And it had to take our leader, the visionary, the caring, and the loving Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt to give him the opportunity, the same time as the Minister of Finance presented, to fill that gap, Mr. Speaker. Why? Mr. Speaker, I suspect I can sit down, but I've talked about my constituents. I'm finished, Mr. Speaker. I also heard, and I hear them under their breath, Mr. Because the thing with them, they cannot test me, Mr. Speaker.
You have 30 something minutes, 33 minutes.
That's okay.
So you have time. You have time.
And I'm sure you see these colleagues are not people like that, but I know they'll give me my time. And you see, he put up his hand because he's a sticker for time. Honorable, my constituent, Mr. Speaker. He lives up the hill and he sees the sea and the yachts, and when they come in at Newton. That's my boy, my boy. Nothing for the youth. Nothing for the youth. I come back on it, Mr. Speaker. Because lights and the lighting, two by two, Mr. Speaker. Everywhere, Mr. Speaker. I had to ask Grant, Mr. Speaker, if that part of thing come in Parliament, I'm in trouble. If you see, I'm in trouble. All over the place. And Mr. Speaker, for years I advocated for the lighting at Newton. And some of my colleagues know I got it. I wouldn't go into it, Mr. Speaker, because it is not for the public. But when I want something, Mr. Speaker, I grabbing it, I taking it. So when you pass through Newton, lights, Mr. Speaker, bright. Sometimes you cannot even see properly because it's shining so brightly in the sky, Mr. Speaker. And I can tell you that playing field is never empty. You have the Newtown Juvenile Football Academy, they are training, Mr. Speaker, the Harlem Sports Club training, the Harlem women, the veterans. Every night you pass it, the place full. Even the little children playing their little smuggle and tell me nothing for the youth. Lights in Soufriere, lights in Grand Bay, lights in Grand Fort, lights in Maho, Mr. Speaker, Vekas. Everywhere around this country, lighting up the field so the young people can play at night. And we say nothing for the youth of this country. And Mr. Speaker, I warned them at the Minister of Sports. Look there, one on my right, on my left. If I don't get my lights for Bar Festive, whatever lights there, I'll take it. I'll take it. They know me and how I operate, Mr. Speaker. Over $983,000 small business grants given to young people of this country, Mr. Speaker, most of them under 40. I was at the ceremony, I handed the checks. The check handler, Mr. Speaker, I handed that. Thanks to Honorable Grant and P.S. Emil and Dr. Jacques, we made it happen, Mr. Speaker. Monies these young people are going to use to develop their businesses and to hire more people. And Mr. Speaker, I asked the guy if I can call him. He told me, yes, I can. You can come in. You know a guy they call Rich? He has a nice fancy name, Coleridge. Bell, across the bridge. He sings, I will say, adult business, Mr. Speaker. He was a recipient. He was a recipient. And remember his famous tune with the Honorable Prime Minister. From AM to PM, we working. I was on the stage. Mr. Speaker, that was my best artist that year. Thanks to Coleridge. He got funding, Mr. Speaker, under that program. And I know he will use it wisely to make beats for the young people. The young people are interested in music. And we can see where it is taking them. They're traveling, Mr. Speaker. They're going to Martinique, they're going to Guadeloupe, they're going to France. Some of them never thought they would have gotten a visa, and they have a visa today going to New York City, Manhattan, Mr. Speaker. And so we recognize that, and so we have assisted Coleridge Bell to get the assistance to make more beats for the young people of this country, Mr. Speaker. Tourism. Mr. Speaker, I heard the other side, bash tourism. And you know when you bash tourism, you bash the Honorable Minister, who is my dear friend and colleague. We have developed so many sites, Mr. Speaker, increasing cruise ship calls, in hotel development. We are getting ready for our international airport, for our cable car. Mr. Speaker, I saw the minister shared a video of the cable car. Now, some Dominicans, they are doubting Thomas's, just like the other side there. They say, which cable car, nothing not going to happen. But, Mr. Speaker, when they saw the little cable car going, some message man tell me, boy, Power very good initiative, but I won't be going on that, I'm afraid. And I know a particular colleague that will not go on it. He just come in the house, Mr. Speaker. I'm not calling name. I am not calling no name. He just come in the house. Mr. Speaker, we saw Disney cruise. Yes. We're not in the cruise season, but Disney Cruise Line was here this week. Off season, 3,000, and Honorable Minister said we can 3,000 on 600 passengers, and 98% of them disembarked. Do you know what that meant for the vendors, the taxi drivers, the small businesses around Roseau, the tour guides, Mr. Speaker, the cassava man, Mr. Speaker, the amount of money that was circulating in the economy on that day, and you said we're not doing anything in tourism. I heard Honorable Victor speak about the World Crowd Music Festival. You know I like my action, Mr. I like my husband already warned me about that, but I just kind of contain myself when I hear about the World Crowd Music Festival. And I'll be going to breakfast fest, you know, Mr. Speaker. I hear they want to arrest me when I reach Pishley. But nobody will trample on my fundamental right of movement. Nobody will trample. And Honorable our family there, you know, I campaigned for him hard, you know, Mr. Speaker, in Ireland and I campaigned for him hard, Mr. Montine and all those places. I make good friends, and so they send provision and stuff for me, Mr. Speaker, all the time. World Crown Music Festival. They say they can see, but I seen better. Coco. Yeah, that's it. I shall eyeball have eyeballs. That's right. World Crown Music Festival. I heard Honorable Victor say that's the worst they have seen 2 years. You're 2 years ago. You're not there for Burna Boy. Weren't you there for Burna Boy? You were not there. You have the opportunity to stand up to clarify, you know, according to the rules of the House. I said that you said the World Crown Music Festival is the worst that you have seen for the past 2 years. Mr. Speaker, that's not true. That's not true. I remember when Burna Boy came. Friday night, I really threw up myself. I got up Saturday morning, drove down. Mr. Speaker, when I like to fly, because 30 minutes I reach in Portsmouth. Fly down there. When I reach a certain distance, Mr. Speaker, I see yachts. I say, but what is happening now? Yachts in Newtown. French people that came in for Burna Boy, Mr. Speaker. If he disappointed, it's not our fault. But the important thing is, people came. And we created that environment for visitors to come in our country. Exactly. Mr. Speaker, when I pass Newtown, all BB finish, you know. All BB and Pink Grapefruit is our national rum. All done. And I don't want to talk about a certain something, but I tell you, Mr. Speaker, it's sell. I don't talk about it. Sell. So I tell you, fellas in Newtown shops and so, make money, Mr. Speaker. Yachts. And the minister saw an increase in revenue that year. And this year, we have a very great lineup, Mr. And I feel that the Curl Festival has reached a stage, but I don't worry about lineup. Mr. Speaker, I go to the Curl Festival for the experience. It's a vibes. Why are we going on lunching for Minister? We have to talk about that. We don't have to spend plenty money lunching, nothing. We give them a little lineup when we decide to get and finish with that. People must come, Mr. Speaker, to our crowd. Because it has reached that level, Mr. Speaker. You hear about the helicopter, which is state where helicopter taking you from one point to the next way. VVIP Ultra Experience, Mr. Speaker. And you're telling me about worst Creole Music Festival. I heard somebody else attack the Minister of Tourism, saying that she wants to micromanage people. Mr. Speaker, the person not there on the opposition side. The seat is empty. And I find that is very disrespectful to the House, Mr. Speaker. Members have to come there on time and be present. But they're not representing anybody, so I guess they can do what they want. Attack the minister. Marvin Williams, the new CEO of Discover Dominica, is my good friend. We speak. And I congratulate her, Mr. Speaker, on her new appointment, as the minister did in her presentation. And I believe that she will do a wonderful job and she'll add value to the Discover Dominica Authority. She has the ability, she has the capability, she has the experience, Mr. Speaker, to do so. But I don't want anybody to believe that the Minister of Tourism is micromanaging anybody. I have had the opportunity to work with her as the PALSEC in the Ministry of Tourism. And I was responsible for ports and maritime, and she allowed me, Mr. Speaker, to do my work. But with any good manager, any good leader, we meet to discuss. And she has to give a nod of approval. And the last time I checked, the minister is responsible for Discover Dominica Authority. Anything happens to that organization, they're going to blame the minister. I want to congratulate my friend and colleague, Honorable Dennis Charles, the MP for the Soufrière constituency, for doing a wonderful job, Mr. Speaker, in this Ministry of Tourism.
Yes, you must remember she's a Pemberton now.
I just forget that. We're so close there, Mr. Speaker, I even had a little go, but anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Come and show me the ring, and you know, Mr. Speaker, that day. But I was overjoyed for my friend, eh? Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, despite all these challenges that we have faced as a government, we remain steadfast. We remain committed to the cause, Mr. Speaker, and we will do what it takes. We will do what it takes to ensure that this Dominica that we live in, that some of us, or if not all of us, call our home, that it will be the envy of the entire Caribbean country, Mr. Speaker. Now I want to turn my attention.
20 more minutes.
I want to turn my attention to the telecommunications and digital economy sector, Mr. Speaker. Now, we as a government, we try our best to bridge the digital divide. And how we have done that is to provide the infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, the services to the public. And one of the ways which we have done so, by creating access, and my colleague minister spoke about it, is Netfall. And all people are funny, you know, at times they say, oh, hey, at $10 a month, they say that cheap is not good. But I can assure them the Netfall $10, Mr. Speaker, is a good service and it works, Mr. Speaker. It works. The NTRC during this year, Mr. Speaker, will spend $100,000 on a resource center equipped with PCs, printers, scanners, and high-speed internet for the Roseau North constituency, Mr. Speaker. Also, we spent $300,000 at the State College renovating an innovation hub. For the youth again, Mr. Speaker, $300,000. Under that project, the college will get new computers, state-of-the-art PCs. At the community level, Mr. Speaker, we're not stopping there. At the community level, Wi-Fi, and you know, dumb people nowadays is a life or death situation if they haven't got internet on their phone. So we're going to put community Wi-Fi's for Lapland, Botanical Gardens, and I remember for Roseau Central, Cassie Bruce, Wesley, Maho, for Tukari, Point Michel, and Silver Lake, Mr. Speaker. Community Wi-Fi access, because we want people to move away from trying to go on dates online. We want people to move away from finding boyfriend and girlfriend online, mister. We have the traditional way which we do. Let us stick to the tradition. Go out, take a little drive, go up to Monbus on the morn, overlook the city. We want to stop that. We want to stop people from stealing Wi-Fi from others, so we are creating the access. We're creating the access, Mr. Speaker. Now, as we speak about internet and creating the access, we have the Telecommunications Act, which we are going to we have the current Telecommunications Act, and we want to move into the EC bill, the Electronic Telecommunications Bill, Mr. Speaker. And what that means for us is that we will create some higher level of investment in the industry, cater for other telcos who want to be part of the industry. So we will increase the level of competition, Mr. Speaker, and also to protect the government and consumers. The Telecommunication Act does not do that. So we have to move to the EC bill, and I can report to this House that the legal committee, they have met. They have met, they have gone for it, and it's just a matter for us to prepare the cabinet paper and to come to this honorable House to approve the EC bill. Now I move to DOWASCO, Mr. Speaker. Move to DOWASCO. And there's a lot of talk in the public about the increased rates. Now, while water is free, and we say we have 365 rivers, Mr. Speaker, it's free. But the issue is, and I've already spoken to DOWASCO, Mr. Speaker, because that paper came to cabinet about 12 times. None of the colleagues there wanted to approve increasing water rates. I can tell you it was hard for me, Mr. Speaker. Very hard. Honorable Vince had to join me at meetings with the WASCO officials. It was rough. And I said to the WASCO board and management of the WASCO, non-certainty, that they have to improve on the efficiency of their service. And they have to limit discretionary spending. And we'll be monitoring and evaluating the WASCO every quarter, Mr. Speaker. They have to report to the cabinet as to how things are going. Because I woke up this morning, I turned on my tap and no water here, Mr. Speaker. None. So I understand what the common man sometimes is going through. But nonetheless, I have to put my ministerial hat on, my management hat on, and understand what the WASCO as well is going through. So while water is free, the access to water is very costly, Mr. Speaker. Very costly. And DOWASCO has been challenged as well by climate, natural disasters, Tropical Storm Erica, Hurricane Maria. Mr. Speaker, DOWASCO spent over $3 million. $3 million after Tropical Storm Erica to improve on tanks and restoring water to many of our households across this country. After Erica, DOWASCO picked up again, and bam, Hurricane Maria came, Mr. Speaker. Hurricane Maria came. 90% of our water systems were down to a tune of $13.9 million in damages. $13.9 million. DOWASCO had to complete phase 1 of the Mount Prosper water system at a cost of $3.2 million, Mr. Speaker. 1.8 came from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and CDB, and 1.5 from the government of Dominica. A new water system, Mr. Speaker, to serve the Joe Burton housing area of Wesley was necessary, Mr. Speaker, at a tune of $4.8 million. Completion of the Bellevue Chopin water system, $2.4 million. a new system in water to Soufriere from Pichelais, $6.5 million, Mr. Speaker. Pipeline works to facilitate the East Coast project, $6 million, Mr. Speaker. But we cannot tell people to go and take water in the Sus, Mr. Speaker, underwater. We can't do that. There are certain things that the government must do, regardless of the cost. And so, not despite the challenges that the WASCO faces, we still have to forge ahead and improve the water supply and systems in various communities.
10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
Ask for some 20 minutes. 20.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the honourable member be given an additional 20 minutes.
It has been moved and seconded that the Honorable Lockhart be given an additional 20 minutes. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Honorable Minister, you are given an additional 20 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, and may God continue to bless you again. You get blessings and your family, your dear wife, my Jenny, my good friend. And Mr. Speaker, may God bless you all and your union, Mr. Speaker. Now, you saw the amount, all my colleagues wanted to stand up and give more. You know I'm love, Mr. Speaker? Everybody want to give me more time. But these are the things that the WASCO will undertake this coming year. $9 million in Cassie Bruce, Mr. Speaker, to improve the water system in Cassie. The parrot always calling. Shaki, I haven't got water today. Shaki, no water. Shaki, honorable member for Cassie Bruce, that will be fixed in this coming year. Right. You will have so much water that you may even provide to Kalinago territory. Don't you? You will have plenty water. Right. $10 million for Grand Fork, Monjon, Rivière, Syric water systems, Mr. Speaker. $8 million will be spent in this financial year. And she sit down next to me. Kalibishi, Honorable Lakia Joseph, $6 million. Kulibishri, Grand Savan. I shouldn't be watching this side to watch this side. My friend. Let me say it again. Kulibishri, Grand Savan, Salisbury, $10 million. $10 million, Mr. Speaker. Bush water system, 1.8, Mr. Speaker. And my dear Prime Minister, nobody can touch him, or you can say, do whatever you want. He's my Prime Minister. And we are taking care of him in the Penville area to a tune of $1 million to fix the Penville water supply. $1 million. Now, Mr. Speaker, I turn my attention to the largest, most diverse, most dynamic, most loving, most skilled people of the Rosa South constituency. Mr. Speaker, they have been asking me, what's in the budget? What's in the budget? Parliament, what's in the budget for us? Well, I say to my people, there's a lot in this budget for you. The Emsall Bridge, Mr. Speaker. And I tell you all in this also, when I don't get something, I'll take it, and I will do what it has to take to get it. I've been very patient, Mr. Speaker, and I have the plans. Don't test me, you know, Mr. I have it. Or you think I'm joking? This morning, the Honorable Prime Minister asked me to get the estimates and the drawings and the plans and the designs for the Emsall. And Mr. Speaker, you know that is a leader in me, because from time he asked me, I said, Honorable Prime Minister, I have it under my pillow. I had it this morning. I had it. Mr. Speaker, Look it, you know. We have plenty work to do there, you know. We have bridge, walls, land to acquire, plenty things to do. But I want to tell the people of Emsall that in the first quarter I'll be meeting with them, along with the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, my colleague, my minister, Honorable Grant, the CTO, for us to sit and have a consultation and discuss the Emsall Bridge, Mr. Speaker. And to tell them that I've not forgotten them. Every time we're in the hurricane season, my heart is heavy. I don't sleep properly at night when there's bad weather. I have to call on the PS to get the CTO to pre-position, Mr. Speaker, heavy equipment in the event that there's rockfall from the cliff. But we are committed. I am committed as your power to do the Emsall Bridge, Mr. Speaker. The Lubia to Baga to Grand Bay Road, Mr. Speaker, it's in the budget. Some people say they don't see things, and Honorable Grant had to correct them. It wasn't under that head. I mean, sometimes if you don't know, so ask a question. Seek clarification. It's there. Lubia to Grand Bay Road, it is dear, Mr. Speaker, for my constituents. And many of the young men, but if you pass through Lubia now, you hardly see people on the roadside, you know, Mr. Speaker. But there will be jobs. And I see memes and all kinds of things. Yes, jobs, and to be part of the meme. Put me on the memes. There will be jobs, and more jobs for the people of Lubia and Newton and Wallows who want to work on the Lubia to Grand Bay Road, Mr. Speaker. People just forget very quickly, Mr. Speaker, when you pass through Newton some years ago, there was a very dilapidated building, stench, old laundry, washroom facility there. And when I came in as a power, and that thing so close to my office, I had to get money from somewhere. And one thing I can say, the Prime Minister is always very supportive, Mr. Speaker. Always very supportive. Trying times, things I had so many people calling him, but once, and I like to message him early, don't take my, let me not say what I just do, because I'm not saying what I do. I'm not telling them. I'm not selfish in my I'll share it with Honorable Skerrit and Honorable Dennis. So, the fish vending stall at Newton, we created that. But Mr. Speaker, we did it. The fishermen are now vending in a much cleaner environment. A lot of people stop there to buy fish. I can tell you. He left. There's somebody that like to boast about most fish. But anyway, we do catch a great good amount of fish. And my eyes are bulging, Mr. Speaker, so it get tired sometimes. Tired. And so when I pass and I see the tents, I'm ready to take it out. I'm ready to remove those tents and to give the fishermen of Newton a nice covering to improve the aesthetics of the place, to fix up the washing area, Mr. Speaker. And we met with the PIU, thanks to the two ministers, Honorable Defoe and Honorable Roye. We met with his unit last week, Friday, and we'll be doing a design and build. You know, I started to talk like a technical person now. Design and build, Mr. Speaker. So it can move fast. Anything, I like to go fast. So anything that can move fast, Mr. Speaker, I need. Design and build. And so we're hoping that we can realize this project very, very, very soon, Mr. Speaker. Because we must end, Mr. Speaker, by April. So we will do that. Housing, also a very critical area for us in Roseau South. We're challenged, Mr. Speaker, with land issues, but we were fortunate, thanks to the Ministry of Housing, that we were able to purchase a lot at Eggleston. That too had all its challenges, and all its challenges, contractor passed away. And Mr. Speaker, one of my colleagues spoke about praying over projects, and I think that is one of the projects that I had to pray very hard over, was the housing for our people of Roseau South. To date, Mr. Speaker, I can report to my constituents that within 4 months, 3 buildings have gone up already, Mr. We're at unfinishing touches. And 16 families in the first phase will realize the dream of a new home, Mr. Speaker. We're not daunted because the people of Newtown have been promised their housing. And I will be speaking to the Minister of Housing, and we have spoken already, and the Honorable Prime Minister, about housing for the people of Newtown and the other areas in the Roseau South constituency. So, tourism and yachting sector. Now, my colleagues believe, they are my friends, so I can say anything I want about them. They're not thin-skinned like those on the other side. Eh? Though the marina is going to be built in the north, but the real vibes, Mr. Speaker, is in the south, I can tell that. The real vibes, they will not stay in the north, I can assure you of that. Look, my dear friend Defoe tell me working on some, and the Prime Minister said it, last Parliament, that he's coming to me. Mr. Speaker, I don't forget things, and when when you see make a promise, I at him every day. PM, don't forget me. PM, not to forget me. PM, not to forget me. But the vibes releasing, so they will anchor there, yes, and so, but we're ready for them, Mr. Speaker. We're ready to provide laundry services. We're ready to provide security services. We have NAS, Newtown Association of Yachting Services and Security. And I was blessed with a boat from the Ministry of Tourism. So we have a boat already, Mr. and an engine. Because you can have a boat, you can't go nowhere with it. You must have an engine to go on the water. So we already have a boat, and I will hand over the boat to the Newtown Fisheries Cooperative very soon, and so that we can get ready for the next yachting season to provide the security for our yachties. Mr. Speaker, we have the best whale watching operators in the south. So that's why I tell you, even if they're in the north, we'll benefit. We will benefit. Because we have the services already. We have whale watching, swimming with the whales, all that in Newtown. We have Kurtz, we have Joanne Gage, all of them. Dive Dominica. So I'm urging the young people, the people of Newtown, those who are interested, to get yourselves ready. And I will do what I can as the parent to provide the necessary resources and training to some of those who need training. But we have those services. And there's a guy in Newtown, his name is Jerry. Doesn't like, he don't mind, he's my friend, I can call his name. He does whale watching and so on. When I came to Portsmouth for the opening, the groundbreaking of the marina, who I see there with a shovel, Mr. Speaker, Jerry. Jerry was so excited. Very excited, Mr. Speaker, for this marina. And my guys got their concessions under the new policy to bring down new boats, improve boats, Mr. Speaker, for people who want to do whale watching and swimming with the whales. So my constituents, let not your heart be troubled. The opportunities are there. You need to grab it. You need to take advantage of it, Mr. Speaker. We heard the Minister of Tourism speak about the zip line in Mongoose. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how excited I am because I want to go on a zip line. I'm heavy, but by the time the zip line reach, I'm going to lose plenty weight. Plenty weight so I can be light when I sit down on the zip line, Mr. Speaker, from Mongoose to the gardens. Whoop! You know, I like to move fast. Whoop! Whoop, Mr. Speaker. Zip line for Mongoose. And we already have vendors there, and if anybody wants to provide any services to the people who come up there, I can give them some ideas. Maybe we have some ice cream, popcorn, chain like cotton. Oh, what is it? Creamy what? Bright and creamy ice cream, Mr. Speaker. I don't know if you hear about it, bright and creamy, but bright and creamy ice cream will be on sale at Monbruce on the Mon, Mr. Speaker, when that zip line is done, Mr. Speaker. I finish it. Who's sleeping? I know hearing them. I just miss into your snore. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, moving on to roads also. Mr. Speaker, we have one of our biggest capital projects. It's on its finishing stage. Every time I pass, I watch it. I saw some paints there and AC units going up. The Ocean Edge Hotel. Ocean Edge Hotel. Being built right in the Roseau South constituency. In Lale Coco, Mr. Speaker, to be exact. That's the name I cannot, that's the name, Mr. Speaker, Lale Coco. Can't change it, can't translate. Mr. Speaker, when I pass and I see some of my young men and so from Newtown and Kings area working at Ocean Edge, I feel so proud, Mr. Speaker, because jobs during construction and there will be jobs after construction, Mr. Speaker. And I intend to provide some hospitality training for the people in the Roseau South area. My people in Girondin and Eggleston can benefit because the hotel will need freshly cut flowers, Mr. Speaker. The fishermen will benefit from this development. So we are creating the opportunities. Once again, I'm urging my constituents to take the opportunity provided to them, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, in agriculture, we'll continue to issue, to give out fertilizers and inputs to our farmers where they need duty-free concessions on certain goods. We will do so. I can say one thing that the Minister of Agriculture, even before he was minister, he was PS in public works, and let me tell you, anytime I call on him, we do plenty things undercover already, Mr. Don't misunderstand me, eh? We do plenty things, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, I would say you need to clarify.
Yes,
Be careful, be careful.
Yes, let me clarify, Mr. Speaker, that the Honorable Roland Royer has been very helpful to me when he was the PS in Public Works, and he assisted me with a number of projects, Mr. Speaker. Some probably not budgeted, but we could squeeze it on the head, Mr. Speaker, but we did it anyway, and he assisted a lot. So that is enough clarification for you, sir. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Small business training, Mr. Speaker. The small business unit continues to assist the people in the Roseau South constituency with their businesses. The businesses are very diverse. And recently a training was held at the Newtown Primary School in the areas of finance and marketing and pricing, Mr. Speaker, to help these people improve on their businesses. Because we heard some people in this house talking about businesses closed down, but they will not tell you about the number of businesses that are open and the number of businesses that are thriving. And if you realize that a business is not doing well with their background, Mr. because they're supposed to be their bride, right? They're well qualified. You have to help people to manage their monies wisely. And businesses closing everywhere in the world. I went to Miami. There was a business I don't buy my suits, Mr. Speaker, to come to Paris so I can use. I couldn't get them when I asked the business closed down. Business is closing down everywhere, so it's Dominica alone then. Look, Dr. Williams said the same guy, we like to look good, Mr. As women. That is why I didn't want to speak last night, Mr. I had to go and do my makeup so I can look sharp, wear my nice suit, bright color, little. Right, so business is closing down everywhere. Everywhere, Mr. Speaker. So it's not Dominica alone. Mr. Speaker, some people like to football capital. We're the football capital of Dominica. And that is what it is. Nobody else can take those accolades. When you hear about football in Roseau South, you hear Harlem. You hear Buffet State. So, Mr. Speaker, we're the football capital of Dominica, and I will continue to work with my constituents to rehabilitate the various playing fields in the constituency. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, there's heavy equipment at Silver Lake, rehabilitating the Silver Lake playing field for the children of Silver Lake so that they could have a place to play and to exercise their energies, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank Ada Trucking for assisting me, Mr. Speaker, with this venture. I'm a blessed child, you know, because I just got a WhatsApp message while I'm in Parliament, and he reached out to me and he said, Pal Rep, I see they have so much bush, and so I came to help out a friend of mine. We will do the playing field for you for free. Just give me the fuel. Just, Mr. Speaker, there are good people around. They are good people, and he will get his blessings twofold, Mr. Speaker. 100-fold, sorry. Not. Mr. Speaker, in Kingsville, I know everybody looking back to hear about their own area, but we have work to do. Currently, I have young people from the NEP, because there are times we have to redirect our NEPs. And so my NEPs just completed a road in Kingsville, PS, Mr. Speaker. Very good job, and I want to thank Al Thomas and Kimon Joseph for leading that, Mr. Speaker. All I needed was tarish and some cement. I got it, and the guys just run that project. Currently, they're in Kingsville again, Mr. Speaker. In Kingsville, you know, by the Kingsville Baptist Church, there's a shortcut to go down to Cornwall Street. And a lot of little children use that shortcut to go to the Newtown Primary School and to do other little business for their parents, and adults too. And the place is very dangerous, very slippery. So they are there working on a new pathway for the people of that area, Mr. Speaker. I'm still committed to doing the Kingsville Community Center because we have no place to have meetings. As I said some parliaments ago, that Burgess Stout did the designs and estimates for me free of charge. I don't know what about me, but people doing things for me, free of charge. And I take in it because I figure I bless in others, so I get in my blessings. Free of charge. We are committed to doing it for them. The road works, maintenance works, Mr. Speaker, in the constituency. We know that there are challenges in the areas of Walhouse and Castle Comfort. I have devised a strategy, but Mr. Speaker, I can't do it alone. You see, I get him breathless talking about Roseau because it's a large constituency with a lot of needs, Mr. Speaker. Nobody cannot tell me what Roseau needs more than me. I'm on the ground. That's why I'm called the ground pal rep. So I know what we need to do. But development is a process, and things take time, Mr. Speaker. Things take time. And so I want the community to join me. Those who have bad roads, let us see how between us, the PAL rep, the Ministry of Public Works themselves can come together, Mr. Speaker, for us to deal with some of the bad roads that we have. And when we have things nice, we will just do it. We'll come to them, I'll give them a letter letting them know that we're going to do their road, and there may be some inconvenience cost to them, and we will just do it, Mr. Speaker. But for now, they have to work with me, and they have to have some patience and understanding, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, as I wrap up, as the ground power rep for Roseau South, Mr. Speaker, I'm duty bound to represent, defend, and protect the vested interests of the people. I am a fair fighter who seeks equity and justice and progress for not only the people of Roseau South, but all Dominicans, Mr. Speaker. We have a democracy to protect, and that is why I stand firm with the MP for the Marigot constituency. And we have development plans to pursue. We ain't stopping, Mr. Speaker. We shall not be distracted. Our focus is sustained through our belief and faith in Jehovah God. For God, Mr. Speaker, is for us. Nothing or no one can defeat this great Dominica Labour Party, Mr. Speaker. God bless, Mr. Speaker. God bless. God will guide us, Mr. Speaker, through these trying times. We know times are trying. We know times are hard. We know times are challenging. But we are here as leaders. We do not complain, Mr. Speaker. We don't complain. We lead, Mr. Speaker. And with these few words, I support this budget, which was crafted for the common man of this country to get an ease, Mr. Speaker, from what they are facing. Thank you very much.